Hi guys, so we are going to do a little mini lesson on adding and subtracting of fractions. You can recall that you can add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators by writing them with common denominators. And there's multiple ways to do this, and we're going to walk through just kind of like a little refresher on how we would want to get our answer here. So, first one, we're adding fractions with a common denominator. So first we want to rewrite our fractions with that denominator. Okay, so I need to figure out what a nice common denominator is going to be. And one way to do that is to use the product of our denominators. So I would take 8 times 6. So 8 times 6 is 48, and I would use that as my denominator. Okay. So I also have to change my numerators. If I'm finding a common denominator, I need to change my numerators as well. So if I have 48 here, and 8 was my denominator, so I had to times that by 6 to get 48. So I'm also have to multiply 6 by my 5 to get my numerator. And same thing over here. I had to multiply by 8 to get my 48, so I have to take 1 times 8 to get my numerator here. So there's an 8 there. Okay? So now that I have common denominators, I can go ahead and add my numerators and keep my denominator of 48. So 30 plus 8 gives me 38. And then I would want to try to simplify this if at all possible. And since I have 2 even numbers here, I can actually simplify that. I'm going to start by dividing by 2. So then I get 24 and then half of my 38 here as well. So 19. Okay, so then my fraction, my answer is going to be 19/24. Okay, so that's one way to use the common denominator to get our answer. Now, another way, okay, that relates to kind of what we just learned about least common multiple, we can do a least common denominator as well. So it's when we have 2 or more fractions that have the least common multiple of denominators. Okay, so now I want to find my LCM of the denominator. So I might do that off to the side here. So I have 8, and I have 6, and we've been finding our LCM by using our pot after we do our prime factorization. Okay, so after we do our prime factorization, we want to look at, okay, what goes into the pot? A 2 and a 3. Who has the most 2's? So 8 with 3 of them, and then 6 only has 1 3 here. Okay, so we only have 1. So 8 times 3 gives me 24. So 24 is my LCD. So in my fractions here, I want to use 24 as my lowest common denominator. Okay, so 3 times 8 gives me 24, so I'm going to take 3 times 5 here to get 15. And 4 times 6 gives me 24, so 1 times 4 gives me 4. So now I have 24, and then 15 plus 4 is 19. I got the same answer, but I didn't have to simplify afterwards because I already simplified by using the lowest common denominator. Now, if I wanted to have mixed numbers here, okay, I first want to change them into improper fractions. Okay, I want to make sure that my improper fractions before I try doing anything. Okay, so let's recall how to find improper fractions. So if I have 4 3/4, okay, I want to multiply my whole number by my denominator and then add 3. So I have 4 times 4, which is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So I'm going to have 19 over 4. Now if I have 2 3/10, I'm going to have 2 times 10 plus 3. So 2 times 10 is 20 plus 3 is 23. So now I have 23 over 10. Okay, now we want to find our common denominator here. So if I can, off to the side, if I wanted to, I can find my LCD by using my stew here. Okay, so I'm going to have a 2 and a 5, 2 2s. So my LCD is going to be 20. So 20. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 times 5 gave me 20. So I'm going to have 19 times 5, which is 95. And now I have 10 times 2 gave me 20. So now 23 times 2 is 46. So now I have 20 over, and I'm going to take my 95 minus my 46. Get 49. And I can go ahead and I want to rewrite this as well. Okay, so I'm going to have my 20 can go into 49 how many times? So it can go in there 2 times. And then after that, I have 9 left over 20. So then that is going to be my answer. Okay, now you guys are going to practice some on your own.